Love that signal. Hey, a new iPhone is on the way, but you don't have to buy one to get the best of these features, or most of them anyway. Anthony Slater joins us now. This sounds too good to be true. So what is the actual deal happening here, Anthony?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, at the recent keynote, Apple said the biggest change to iPhone ever is happening, and it's called iOS 7. Because that's not only just on new iPhones. If you've got an iPhone 4, 4S, or 5, you can get the new operating system as well. So it looks a hell of a lot better. It's got over 200 new features. Now, most of them are pretty small and subtle, but there is a few biggies in there as well. And I think it's going to be pretty exciting.
Richard, the floor manager, just handed me this phone, which is not mine, and it looks different. Some people already got them downloaded.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, there's a few. If you're an Apple developer, so you can have access to it, or if some people are doing it illegally as well. But look, it's best to wait till Thursday for it to officially come out so you don't have any problems. But yeah, you're looking at it now. Basically, Apple has a designer called Jonathan Ive, and he's really famous for all the industrial design of Apple.
Yeah.
He's now been put in charge of the software as well. And they've made some pretty big changes. They've moved away from this thing called schoonerism, where they try to make it look like, a notepad looks like a notepad with stitching and yellow lines, into this kind of modern, transparent, clean, and sort of crisp approach. Some really cool animations we're seeing there with the new weather app. And also a whole bunch of new features as well.
So is it just retricking stuff that we've seen before and freshening it up, or is there new technology here?
There's some new things as well. It's not necessarily new technology. If you've used Android phones, you will have seen some of these features before. One of the biggest complaints was people saying, I like to turn on my Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, go onto airplane mode. I have to tap around so many times. There's a new thing called Control Center. So you just swipe up from the bottom of the phone. You can access all that straight away.
Oh, that'll be handy.
There's a thing called iTunes Radio. So kind of trying to compete with Spotify and some of these sort of streaming music services, where you can go through and sort of play music and it'll recommend new music for you even if you don't currently own it.
Yeah.
There's a whole heap of sort of little tiny usability improvements, little things which actually add up to a pretty significant change for Apple. They've really kind of put a lot of effort into it.
A lot of people want to bash Apple. Is there a genuine reason for doing that, or is it just that, Apple's been at the top of the tree for so long, excuse the pun, that now that people, want to kick them a little bit? Because, for instance, the feel of an iPhone, the build quality, it's still magnificent.
Build quality is amazing. Customer service is phenomenal. I think what it is that people got so used to Apple coming out with these revolutionary leaps, and they did that for a while, but now there's just not as much that can be improved. They're kind of at the cusp of what technology can do, and more competitors have caught up. So I think we probably all got a little bit greedy, thinking every time they come on stage, they're going to wow us with some brand new technology. They're making incremental updates. In their recent keynote, they were saying, look, what we do, we don't do a lot of things, but what we do, we do it really well, and we concentrate a lot on that. And I think some people don't value that enough. But look, it's good to see competition, and I don't mind, if market share is being spread out across a few other companies. But look, no, they are still really good. And if somebody's looking to get a smartphone, I still generally recommend the iPhone, if they haven't sort of played in that space before.
Okay, if Apple are not making the gigantic leaps forward that they used to, does that mean we've reached peak iPhone, that we've peaked out, that these things have reached their limit, or what's the next step for them?
Look, there's a few new things I think battery life is one of the things that so many people complain about.
That's right. Is that improved with the iOS 7?
iOS 7 apparently has got some smarter features in there to try to manage your battery life, but it's all kind of incremental. What I personally think is, we don't need the thinner and thinner and thinner phones. Like, I'm happy to have a phone that's 30% thicker but doubles the battery life. I mean, that's really what takes that away for a lot of people. So I think, look, there's so much money going into battery research. Hopefully that takes another big step up. And then a whole bunch of features will open up that they just can't do at the moment because it sucks your battery too much to have them constantly turned on. So that's one big area. The cameras have been improved in the latest iPhones as well. I think that's an area that can keep on improving. But yeah, you're right. Until there's some sort of big fundamental shift, they are really kind of making incremental improvements. A lot of people weren't that satisfied with the latest iPhones that were announced, but I'm not sure what people want them to do. They're not going to make a coffee for you.
Exactly. One day they might. On the phone, the camera element of it, because everyone uses them as cameras these days. Snap Happy, I think it's called. It's an app that you can download. It's an Australian invention, and it'll shoot 24 frames a second, crystal clear. I tried it out last night at the football.
Yeah, right. It's pretty amazing, isn't it? Yeah. And the new iPhones have got slow motion video as well, so lots of frames per second, really high definition. And I think that's one of the things that the point and shoot market is sort of not doing as well, because you've got this in your pocket. They say that the best camera is the one you have on you at the time, and I think this is a perfect example of that. And that's another thing with the new operating system as well. There's some live filters, so they're kind of Instagram-style filters into the camera. That's all built in. So it's it's pretty exciting.
I don't mind the new look. It's a bit Samsung-y, if I can say that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they might.
No.
No, it is
All
good.
right.
It is good.
Thanks very much for that, mate.
Cheers.
That was interesting chats, slats with all the latest on how to get an iPhone without really getting an iPhone, Deb.
I love it when you guys go all glassy-eyed with all that tech stuff. Beautiful stuff. Stay with us. We've got